Today we are having our most challenging day to date.
We are doing an epic mountain biking mission on the Timber Trail.
This morning we are waking up at the beautiful Timber Trail Lodge. It's a sunny day today, amazing. It has been raining for the last couple of days and we were pretty worried because today we are tackling probably one of the hardest mountain biking trips we're gonna be doing this entire year. It's the Timber Trail.
The guys from Epic Cycle Adventures dropped off a couple of really awesome mountain bikes at the Timber Trail Lodge last night so that we can jump straight onto our mountain bikes this morning and hit the Timber Trail. Our mission today is to do a 45-kilometer journey towards Unga Rua.
The trail starts on an old logging route and this is why you can see this very wide trail right now, but it quickly becomes really narrow and it becomes a single biking trail. And in no time at all we delve into the lush New Zealand native bush. It's absolutely amazing how the landscapes changes that quickly, but it looks absolutely brilliant because of the early morning lights from the sun. Everything looks golden, the forest looks absolutely beautiful. On top of that, because there is literally just us on the track, we can hear a million types of bird calls. It's crazy the amount of bird that there is surrounding us, and it only takes a few minutes for Laura to jump off her bike and start filming them. The first pair of birds that we find is the pair of whiteheads. We see a male and a female bickering their way through the trees, and it's quite crazy the amount of time that we get to watch them and also how close we get to them. But we have a lot of biking to do today, so we jump back on our bike on our way. The great thing about getting all our gears from Epic Cycle is that they actually provide us with heaps of awesome equipment. The thing that I like the most out of everything they give us is the little GPS tracker. This allows them to track us alongside the Timber Trail. About every 15 minutes they get a notification where we are and what is our speed. This allows them to estimate at what time they're gonna need to come pick us up at the end of the trail and relieve us from the stress of not making up our deadline. Once we're gonna be meeting them back up, they're gonna drive us back to our car and we'll be on our way. But let's get back to the track. And right now we're meeting up with our first huge swing bridge.
We just passed the 47, so we've got 35 kilometers to go.
After cycling 5 kilometers, we finally come to our first epic bridge of the day, which is the Muramasa Bridge. It goes over 141 meters over this huge gorge, rising 54 meters from the ground. Actually, it's the highest and longest rideable suspension bridge in the whole of New Zealand. Riding super high above this steep river gorge is absolutely amazing and a major highlight of the Timber Trail. To be honest, we do cross that bridge several times before making our way onto the next section of the trail, which is probably the hardest section for us of the day, and it's a 3-kilometer steady uphill. As we mentioned before, we're actually only doing the second day of the Timber Trail. The whole Timber Trail itself is 84 kilometers long and it usually takes 2 days to complete, although some people have been known to do it in just 1 day. The first day of the Timber Trail goes from Pureora to Pureora, which is where the Timber Trail Lodge is based, where we were staying last night, and that first section is about 40 kilometers, mostly on a grade 2 gradient, which is usually an easier and less technical gradient to tackle on the mountain biking trails in New Zealand. The highlights of that part of the trail include the Lord of the Rings scenery around it, because actually part of that was filmed in the Lord of the Rings, and also there's a side track up to the summit of Mount Pureora, which is said to have some amazing views, even looking across Lake Taupo. The second official day of the Timber Trail is the section that we are doing at the moment, and that goes from Pureora to Unga Rua, which I just can't pronounce. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh no, we have the toilet.
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
Our first little pit stop is at the Unga Rua tramway terminus because yes, the Timber Trail is full of history. It was actually a place where a lot of logging was happening, as the name can tell, Timber Trail. And it's a really nice touch that all along the way the Timber Trail there is heaps of interpretation panels telling us a lot about, well, the history of the Timber Trail as well as its construction process. For instance, we learned a lot about the milling operations that were happening in the area between 1946 and 1978. We see a lot of little relics like crawlers tractors as well as milling building, but they stopped milling and reconverted the land into conservation land, and it's now steep in conservation operation and, well, awesome biking tourists like us. Now let's talk a little bit about the track itself. It's rather easy, or at least I do find it rather easy. At the beginning of the second day trail, which is what we're doing today, there is about 3 kilometers of steep uphill, and that, to be fair, took our breath away, literally. But after a good night of sleep at the Timber Trail Lodge and a really heavy breakfast, I think that it's an easy one to do. After that, it's mostly downhill and mostly flat, aside from about a section which is between 6 to 7 kilometers and which is quite steadily uphill. But again, nothing too hard. I personally found this trail really doable, with a bit of a challenge, but that's what's making it even more rewarding when you get to the end.
There's so much to see on the Timber Trail along the way, from deep, dense forest inside the Pureora Forest Park. Some of the forest here is actually over 1,000 years old, and it really feels like you're in the ancient wilderness. I absolutely love it. The higher up we get though, the more the vegetation starts to thin out and we can start to see some views. However, we're getting pretty exhausted after all the uphill climbing, so it's a good place to stop, grab some lunch by the 65-kilometer mark, and then get back on our bikes and start the awesome downhill section. Once again, we're delving into the deep dark forest with really huge gorge walls on the side, where I guess that they put the railway right through the middle when they first constructed a railway in this area. There's more bridges to cross. Actually, there's about 18 bridges just on this section of the Timber Trail alone. Toward the end of the Timber Trail, we have about 10 kilometers of downhill to tackle. When I say tackle, it's more like just letting gravity do its thing and we just enjoy the amazing ride down. It's so much fun. Another really awesome feature of the Timber Trail is the Unga Rua Spiral, which is a feat in railway engineering, and this was a way for trains to actually get up a steep mountain without actually having to go up a steep gradient itself. The spiral goes up around the mountain like a spiral, going through a tunnel and then across a bridge, and it's the only railway spiral that you can actually ride a bike on in the world. It's super awesome to be riding right through a deep dark tunnel, and once we emerge we are surrounded by amazing waterfalls and then bike into this awesome valley where the views just open up and we can just see forest and valley for miles and miles. The very last stretch of the Timber Trail takes us through lush farmland with lots of green fields as far as the eye can see, and we're meeting up with the guys at Epic Cycle Adventures who have got the shuttle ready to take us back to the Timber Trail Lodge. And they show us that they tracked us all the way.
So I knew where you were at each time, and if you zoom in here, like you can see the bridge. There's one of the bridges.
Oh, yeah. So how you feeling? Woo! How do you feel? Ah, my back hurts so much.
But our day is not finished just yet. We are now driving toward Tauranga, which is a cool coastal city on the Bay of Plenty.
So we gathered here together to remember Robin, the mountain biker. I'm no mate for that, guys. I shouldn't be doing mountain biking.